Listen, man. Hey, if y'all hadn't heard that album, man, I'm not just saying it because we made it. Man, the album dope, and it actually speak. I think when I went back, 'cause me, I can't really listen to my music, right?
Right.
I had to be far removed from something I made to go back, because when I'm mixing and mastering, I listen to it 1,000 times.
It's so annoying,
and I'm listening to something different. I'm not really listening to the words.
Right.
But now that the album is done, and I go back, man, and I put it in the whip, and I'm riding when I'm looking at the news, and I'm looking at all these things, man, that's happening, and I'm like, man, Vaughn was 4 years ahead. We were 4 years ahead of everybody else. If you had, man, go check out that album, man.
Can I say something real quick on the album?
Go ahead.
What's funny, man, is there's such a great balance of the album, kind of like how we started the show with dealing with both sides of the coin, right? You have the racism, white supremacy, things like that, and you have the things that we do to ourselves, right? But if you really listen to that album, I talk so much more about Black responsibility. But because racism is so heavy and it's such a denial, people will still a lot of times will lead that album like, man, all he do is talk about. But if you really listen to it, and even if you look at like my career, like doing music and stuff like that in the past, I've always held Blacks more accountable than anybody, because this is our home. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you holding another family more accountable than you hold your own household, you know what I'm saying, your own wife and kids or parents or whoever, right? So I've always spoke to the Black community, but I can make 1 or 2 songs that is directing at police or racism, and people will act like that's the whole album. You know what I'm saying? Or like, man, that's all you do, man. He just bad. But if you really listen to the Crooked 10 album, most of those songs on there is dealing with us. It's talking about the gang violence. It's talking about our upbringing. It's talking about economics. It's talking about entrepreneurship. Choices, right? So, but when you mention racism, and you, like you said, going back to the truth, it's so powerful and it's so real that it makes people think that, man, that's all you talk about.
I say that, man, because when I sit back, when I went back, man, and listened to the album just after the pandemic, and we had no idea, man, that they was gonna do the pandemic stuff.
No.
And it just kind of made sense. It made better sense now than it did in 2017 when we made that album.
Right.
And I think, man, it's a great album. It's our, shout out to Show Baraka. Big Phil was blowing on that joint, man.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to them boys.
If you don't want to buy it, you ain't got to buy it. You can go and just stream it, man, listen to it, and let's discuss it, man, what you think. Because I think that's one way, man, that we can create change, man, is dialogue.
Right.
Instead of being mad with your brother, your sister, like, have a conversation. Like, you have to try and see somebody else's viewpoint.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And being mad with them or trying to shun them, because I like the underdogs, man. What I love about Vaughn, I'm going to always gravitate to the underdog. Mm-hmm. Whenever I have people, man, that's going to always try to choose, and they want to try to support the most popular person, or they always going to try to choose. I like the underdogs because I'm an underdog. People are counting me out. And if I had lived by what people said about me when I was coming up, man, I wouldn't have no money. I wouldn't have nothing. I just lay in the bed. Like, so I'm for the underdog. I'm like, Danny, like D-Ray, why I rock with D-Ray? D-Ray is an underdog. You understand? But, you can be an underdog and have skills. So on this show, on this new season, I refuse to have anybody on here that's not dope. Right. I'm not going to pat you on the back. Me and D-Ray, we're going to be doing some coaching. We got some packages, man, we're going to be doing for your independent artists, man. Of course, I'm a producer. D-Ray is a producer. We're going to try to help a lot of you artists, man, that are serious. But we want to try to turn the tide. We want to try to help push you forward, man, with your career and what you're doing. So I want to have people on here that have some substance. Believe it or not, I know some people will go back and watch this video. Like, I know Javon McKenzie, know, right? Because I know for a fact he just came over my house with a white brother, right?
Right.
A few days back.
Right.
He got white supporters.
Right.
Right. So he don't hate white people. So that's a lie. Yeah. Right. I said all that to say.
Hey, I got white grandparents, believe it or not, man. I had white adopted grandparents, bro.
The thing that
my family.
The thing that I love about you, man, is you willing to have a conversation.
Right.
And if you try to have a conversation with a guy that has this intelligent, like I'm super smart, like everybody up here is super smart, right? And if you try to have a conversation with either one of us and you don't know what you're talking about, it's not going to fare well, right? Because we'll start pulling data, and we'll start
we'll round drum.
The 100-round drum, bro. Listen, we'll start pulling data, we'll pull history, we'll pull the tapes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right,
and
right.
you ain't gonna win that argument. So you gotta know what you're doing. Listen, talk about black coffee. I know the time is up, but talk about black coffee and man, what you're doing. Oh, and we all working on a new project. We're gonna have a new project coming that's gonna dwarf Crooked 10. Trust me. We're going in, taking the gloves off. But go ahead, bro. Talk about black
definitely.
coffee.
Black Coffee on the Moon, really what it is, man, it's just a little podcast, a little vlog thing I do on YouTube, little show I do, and it really just represents black coffee, just rawness, just me being black, just from a black worldview, perspective of me personally, Vaughn's view. That's why I named it Black Coffee on the Moon, Vaughn's View. And I just kind of like what you brothers are doing, man, just trying to give people platforms and just really just speaking my mind on a lot of issues. And, with social media, a lot of times tone can get lost in, or your message can get lost in people perceiving a tone on social media, Twitter, whatever. And so what I wanted to do was, a lot of these topics, let me like throw some comedy in there, but also let me give some truth to where people can hear my heart on stuff. So if you disagree, that's fine, but give me 10, 15 minutes to talk about whatever issue it is. Like my first episode was talking about the NBA and how they sat out, and I disagreed with them on coming back so soon. And I felt like they didn't get much accomplished. I know that they're happy with what they got, but in my view, and I expressed why and things like that. Instead of just throwing something on Twitter and then people are like, oh man, you just hating or you just doing whatever. Like, nah, check out the show, see my thoughts. I'm well-rounded, man. I'm a little bit of everything. And as far as the music, yeah, man, Crooked 10 was good, man. But we've moved on. We're a lot better. And I will say this real quick. One thing you said was, artists, you guys being producers, artists being serious. I would encourage any artist is like, bruh, like forget even the money aspect, the marketing aspect. This is how you know if you're serious or not beyond anything else. If somebody, Rico, D-Ray, asks you, hey, bruh, it's October 2nd, right? What have you done in the last 30 days? Forget what people can see. How much writing have you done? How much you say you want to be a singer, you want to be a rapper, bruh. How have you gotten better? Who are you studying? What are you doing? This is all this free stuff. How are you taking advantage of the free stuff? And if you can't say, as soon as they say, well, you ain't serious. You know what I'm saying? If you're not like, bro, if you're not grinding, if you're not working on your craft, if you're not like, like Kobe talked about that mama mentality, man, if you don't want it, then you don't, like Jay-Z said, oh, I get it. Hustling ain't you. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to do it for a hobby, cool. But if you're serious about this, bro, like I'm serious about, I'm coming for cats' heads, bro. And cats can hear it in the music.
It ain't too many people that can say, because one thing about me, I'm a private guy. Right. Most of the people that say they know me don't really know me.
Facts.
Because if you ain't never spent the night at my house,
right.
This cat has spent the night at my house, been around my family, out of town. Listen, this cat will write. We working on while I'm mixing songs down. He going to the next joint, getting ready to jump back up and record again. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact, man, he got a strong work ethic. And we got this new project, man, that's coming. We don't know what it's titled yet, but if you go check out Crooked 10, Crooked 10 dope, right? Yeah. But we had to pull the plug on it because we was gonna work on it forever. You know what I'm saying? But what we're doing now gonna dwarf that, man. I definitely gonna support you, Vaughn. Like, because I know your heart, man. Regardless, I like underdogs, man. You know, and the cat that everybody else, man, fire on and don't like, man, I love them cats. Right. Especially when I know where you're coming from. Right. And where your mindset is, because now everything that you was talking about in 2017, and you get on Facebook, man, and you're talking about it, like we seeing this stuff happen right now. Right? It's happening right now. It's right now. Yeah. So we glad you came on, bro.
Thank you for having me, brothers.
We're gonna have you back again, and great conversation, man. Well-rounded conversation. D-Ray, any last words?
We were talking about the Matrix earlier, and just listening to Vaughn talk, I was reminded, and some of the things Vaughn said, I was reminded of one of my favorite lines out of The Matrix that came from Cornel West portraying one of the council members when he said comprehension is not requisite for cooperation. You know, sometimes, man, you spend too much time trying to understand and everything ain't for your understanding. You know, sometimes you just got to get on board. You know, this is if these guys are ethical, if this is where God is telling you to be, don't sit there trying to understand it. Just go. You know what I mean? So hats off to you, brother.
Man, repeat that quote again. Repeat that again. That's not good. What's that again?
Now I got to go watch the movie again.